G'day everyone, and welcome to my next Let's Play of something a little bit different, something I've actually been enjoying for the past few weeks, and that is Need for Speed The Run. Now I should actually introduce myself a little bit with my past experiences with, say, the Need for Speed series. And I'm gonna say right now, I can count probably 3 or 4 Need for Speed games I've loved, and the rest I've absolutely hated. And that's including Need for Speed Shift 1, 2, Need for Speed 2, and probably the first Underground. But why am I playing this? Oh, that's right. This one is the one that stood out for me the most. And this game is brilliant. I actually want more people to play this game more. It's unfortunate it's a little bit short, but the experience you get from it is second to none, really. This game actually runs on the Frostbite engine, which is the same engine they use in Battlefield 3, so expect some spectacular graphics, crazy physics, and a beautiful Porsche. In terms of character modeling, I'm going to say that obviously Forza 4 was a lot better, but if you keep watching this, or if you actually have played Need for Speed The Run, you'll see why this game just truly outshines a lot of racing games. It's not the best, I know, but it's probably one of the better experiences you can have. And I'm just going to quickly say right now that usually I have a bit of the thing against talking over cutscenes right now, but I'm going to this time because not much happens. There's a lot of still frames and really bad dialogue, which I can easily summarize in just one sentence. So hopefully you won't be too worried about me hampering on. But we have our protagonist right here in a bit of a strife, I should say. And that's just the way the game starts. No backstory, no nothing. It's just what the shit is happening, and it'll just throw you right in. And hopefully not throw you in to a crusher right there. Unless it's one of those prologue games where it'll be like, you'll see yourself getting smashed and then you'll go, 10 days before. If you actually noticed, if you rewind a little bit and you look at the back, I actually didn't point this out before. There's actually an AE86 in the crash, in the pile heap there. But welcome to my most hated thing in video games lately. You'll see it. Can you guess what it is? Yes, it is. It's QuickTime events. Isn't this supposed to be a racing game? Yes, it is. But obviously, EA, I don't know. Maybe it's just modern games in general. They just gotta have QuickTime events. Maybe it's trying to make more, cutscenes more interactive, and you probably have to pay attention. But really, I don't know. Maybe whenever a cutscene comes on and I just want to walk away for a little bit, while still watching obviously. I like to do other things. But this way trying to sort of trap you into sitting down and make sure you pay every single damn attention to everything that happens. I don't know. By the way, remember that face. Guys at the back. But here we are at it. The first driving experience in this Audi RS6. Obviously you couldn't steal the other Porsche Cayennes right there because they didn't have any keys set in them. Well, this idiot right here has left it in there. But yeah, in terms of the actual physics, yes, this is more arcadey than simulator, so don't worry too much about it being too hard to play, because it's not. In actually saying that though, I'm gonna actually be a little bit hypocritical though. This first part is actually quite hard. I remember dying like at least 5 times trying to get past this part first time I tried to get through it. Just because I didn't know how long or how strong those gunfires are. But you actually gotta pay attention. You can't just keep driving and taking note of your cornering and everything, because you gotta keep swerving left and right. So who cares about racing line right now? As well as paying attention to that map, because let me tell you, that map is awfully helpful. But yeah, we gotta avoid the mob, and hopefully getting shot too many times, that will make us explode. And we can't have a cliched video game about racing without passing a train of some sort as a getaway. Yeah, don't worry too much about the loading screens because even though they do pop up, I'm gonna actually include maybe there by anything, which you guys can just sort of pause if you want to watch it or read it. But I actually cut down on the loading times right there, so don't worry too much about the fact that there's loading screens. They only pop up for a few seconds. And my computer is not that fast, don't worry about it.
Word is you made a wrong turn, Jack.
No one ever got a head sitting on their hands, now did they, Sam?
Nobody from our block, at least. You know I can help you straighten that out.
And my end?
What you do best. What you do better than anyone.
Remember that guy, he comes important later.
Yes or no?
You knew the answer before I even walked to the door.
And cliche number 35, just before we start the game. In a nutshell, you could just pretty much summarize that sort of conversation with one sentence. This guy's a bit of shit, she wants to help him out, he's got a race. He gets a bit of a cut of the money.
I will handle your problem and give you a 10% cut.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. 10%?
Remember her, she's important later too.
The purse is 25 million. Do the math.
After you.
$250 million? That's weird. Or maybe it's $250,000. I don't know. Ignore me there, I actually tried to see if I could actually skip the cutscene, but they actually force you.
This will keep us in touch. Now we have to get you a car.
Cars. I got covered.
More cliches. Need for Speed, The Run. Okay, so we finally start the game. In a nutshell, this game is pretty much a coast-to-coast sort of deal right here. Drawn from a lot of from different influences, I should say, and I'll point them out later. Because right now we gotta choose a car. And even though there's a few cars right here, there's actually two that's supposed to be locked, but they're unlocked because I played it through the game. So that Camaro and the Porsche at the end, that's actually locked. So essentially there's only 3 cars you can pick at the moment. But I actually want to pick different cars each time I play through this. So we have our Mustang, which we're supposed to have, our Datsun right here, and our BMW, our Beamer. But right now, I'm actually feeling a little bit anime-ish, I should say, and I feel like driving this Devil Z right here. Has anyone seen that crappy anime, One Gun Midnight? You'll see what I'm referring to. Apparently this car is so fast that it can transcend all machinery, as if it is possessed. And it's not that the fact that you pick the car car actually picks you. So that's why I just felt more inclined to pick this car.
Sounds good to me.
Man, that was a bad anime and I will never ever mention that crappy show again. Actually, there is another reason why I picked this car, and you'll see later. But we're gonna race the Knob Hill. And this game, I could say that it was something that Driver should have been. The game itself is pretty much just a long line of different objectives. Essentially, you can just do every objective easily just by racing as fast as possible. But there comes twists and turns here and there, and this game yearly clocks in around. Ooh, I'm Zonda. Sorry. This is one of the reasons why I picked this car. I knew there was going to be a Zonda there, and it's kind of cool seeing all these cars coming off from the side of the street, you know, joining in the race. But we have this guy at the very end who, I don't know, maybe with his crazy amount of money right there, maybe he ate his, I don't know, he made his breakfast really extravagant and he's a little bit late. Because technically that car should not be behind here. But anyhow, I should say before, this game has a lot of influences. One of the biggest ones I can see is Outrun, or Outrun 2000, in which it is another coast-to-coast game. But that was an arcade game, and it was a game that was very much revered. A lot of people love that game, and it was a whole heap of fun. And funny enough, this game itself, strangely enough, and I would absolutely never guess it, but this game actually gives you that feel that you get from Outrun, at least for me.
Copy that.
Alright, let's do it. We have some races here, and we gotta go as fast as possible because our car is a piece of shit. It's just one big block of metal. And this game sort of has that Michael Bay feel in which, you know, shit's going on. And you gotta have, you know, people screaming at you from their radio, left, right and center, just to show you how urgent everything is. And let me tell you that the cop battles in this, or the cop chases, are absolutely nuts in this game compared to, say, Most Wanted, or, were there cops in Carbon? I think there were, I can't remember exactly. Or Hot Pursuit, yeah, that too, the new one. But you'll see later on that because this game is, well, it's more scripted than the other Need for Speed games, it's not so sandboxy, that they can actually go a little bit further in regards to being a little bit more adventurous with the road blockages and other stuff that I don't want to spoil just yet. Let me tell you that it's pretty awesome. So keep your eye out for that. And can you sort of see it? I reckon this game looks absolutely beautiful. You guys can't see the fact that I'm actually playing this game at 60 frames per second, but it is silky smooth. Again, it's not like the console counterparts which was locked out at 30 frames per second. And you can start to see why my car is a little bit not suited for, well, racing against muscle cars. Somehow. I don't know, I just passed that R8. And we're going past the Golden Gate Bridge of San Francisco. Pretty cool. I wonder if actually the locations and the geography is the same in real life. Which would be kind of cool, but I don't know. I'm not American, I can't say anything. Oh, that's Zonda. Let's pass it. Yeah. Impossible. Cliche. There's no point saying cliche because this game itself is just one giant one, so you sort of leave your brain at the doorstep and just go through the experience. This game is just pure fun. I so badly want to smash that car right now. That answer. Anyhow, here we are at a more generic sort of racing stage here. Just to introduce ourselves to what's involved. As you can see before, there's a counter in terms of what position we were. We were 205th, and the mission of the game is to make it to the first by New York. And it's kind of cool. I really love this sort of gameplay aspect. I know it's a small little thing here and there, but it makes you sort of question and sort of feel what's gonna happen. Because when I was playing this for the first time, I actually really wanted to know what was number one. It gives you the biggest scope or the grander scale in regards to the big race here. It's like a very illegal gumball match right now. I've always wanted to know, like, maybe the first car will be some sort of super concept car or a really cool hero car or influential car. You know, I thought that there might be maybe say a Ferrari Enzo or maybe something a little bit more cool nowadays. Maybe a Ferrari 457 Italia, something like that. Unfortunately, there are no Ferraris in this game. So, I don't know, I was sort of trying to guess what he might be. I was actually thinking it might be a Zonda. But again, it just kept me guessing because as soon as you keep playing through this game, you realize that as soon as you keep going higher and higher on the ranks, there are cooler cars coming out. And that's one of the things I should actually point out about this game. While I pass the Supra, which is going to be a part of my points right there. This game respects cars. It's hard to say. I'm a bit of a rev head. I worked in a lot of automotoring jobs, and I've worked at my first job was an auto detailer, and I've worked in some showrooms here and there. Nothing is worse than seeing cars, or ricey cars right there, decked out in the stupidest, untasteful body kits and everything. I believe that if a car is supposed to look like that, it's supposed to look like that. Maybe slight minor cosmetic changes, but really just leave it alone. But as I was saying before, this game respects its cars. You'll see right now, who the hell would put a Datsun 240Z here? And later on you see a lot of historic cars, a lot of, I should say, hero cars. A lot of cars that, you know, wouldn't appeal to the average Fast and the Furious, Need for Speed Underground 2 crowd. You know, they appeal more to the people who sort of love their cars from, you know, beginning to end. And let me tell you, you'll see some really old cars which shouldn't be going this fast in general. Like my car in particular. Woo! This car was actually released in 1969, by the top of my head. These Datsun 240Zs. And these are probably one of the early cars that actually put Japan in the spotlight in regards to making sports cars. This car is absolutely beautiful and it ran perfectly compared to anything else back in the day. Unfortunately, we sort of know that it was a bit of a blatant rip-off of the most beautiful car in the world, the Jaguar E-Type. It does look a bit jaggish, don't you think? And here we are at it. Another aspect of the game, once in a while you get sprinkled in these checkpoint races, which is pretty much going as fast as you can without needingly passing any opponents. You just got to go as fast as you can, just to make up time. Again, it gives you a nice little scope of, you know, the big giant race at hand. We've got to catch up to the next bunch of people. And hopefully not crash into people. Funny enough, you can't actually slipstream or draft or what does this game call it? I don't know. I just call it slipstreaming anyhow. But you can't actually slipstream the normal cars on the road. You can only slipstream opponents, which is a little bit strange. But again, it's Need for Speed, and who cares about realism? All you do is care about the cars and a sense of acceleration of driving as fast as possible. Again, this game has a bit of a twist, and we'll see later. Fortunately, this is the early part of the game, which sort of tries to ease you in until you see the absolute shitstorm this game takes you through. Actually, I wanted to make a mention as well that one of the things I said before with absolutely decking out your car with the stupidest things possible, such as neon lights and the worst body kit, you know, you can actually think of. I was actually thinking of Most Wanted, in which you can actually put a roof scoop on a convertible car, the convertible SL55, which absolutely made no sense. And when I was a lot younger as well, you know, even back then I knew that was a little bit distasteful. Again, if you actually enjoyed those games, you know, more power to you, but I just find that the games were a little bit too, well, grindy. The arcade aspect of this game in particular, the feel, works brilliantly because this game isn't actually very too long and is absolutely jam-packed with content. Whereas say Carbon, Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2, Most Wanted, those games would be a grind fest, and half the time you're just trying to soup up your car in the silliest way possible. And I wouldn't mind that if they actually didn't make you race really boring races just to actually get your new part. Of course they change up gameplay elements such as the drifting battles, which you can somehow drift your forward drive or your front wheel drive car as well as a rear wheel drive car. Or the quick time events, which we call drag racing. If that's your style, that's cool. But really, it's not really my cup of tea. But we finally passed our first stage, our West Coast. Nothing too spectacular, but let me tell you that the next episode will be a doozy, because we are actually going to see some new scenarios right here. Besides actually getting all my experience points and such like that, because new games need that. We will see a new environment, let me tell you. There's going to be some windy roads, some mountains, and some toge races. Let's have a bit of a laugh at the rice.